ever strike the island.
Rain potential in excess of 3 feet.
An atmospheric river unleashes heavy rain and deadly winds near Seattle.
It's amazing that I'm able to stand here and talk to you today.
It also brought blinding snow to the mountains.
Conditions on the roads went from blacktop and just wet to now slick.
Plus a look back at a devastating bomb cyclone 1 year ago. Tornadoes that struck Texas and Alabama over the weekend. And the drought that's continuing to cause problems across the country.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm John Rogers. Hurricane Melissa, now a monster Category 5 storm, the third hurricane to reach that level this year. And it's about to unleash its fury on Jamaica. Here's a look now at the capital of Kingston this morning. The streets are fairly quiet as residents prepare for this life-threatening storm. Now, in addition to feet of rain, Melissa will also bring a potentially deadly storm surge that has fishermen bringing boats in for safety and people lining their property with sandbags. Satellite images show just how big and strong Melissa is, and if it remains a Cat 5 as expected, it could be the strongest hurricane to hit Jamaica in recorded history, topping Gilbert back in 1988. Florida meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking Melissa for us this morning.
The National Hurricane Center actually thinks this could become stronger again before making landfall there. Now, you'll see the outer bands on that satellite image starting to impact the island, but there's the eye. This isn't going to move on shore there until tomorrow morning. This is a similar situation, although you can never compare two storms, to what Dorian did when it stalled near the Bahamas. This is moving incredibly slow. And that's why it's going to cause such a huge issue. Even if it was moving fast, it's still an incredibly powerful hurricane. Winds again at 160. So this is where it's going to be later today, just a few miles northwest of where it is right now. And because it's going to be, Jamaica, I should say, is going to be impacted by Melissa for such an extended period of time, this is going to cause likely catastrophic damage to parts of that island. Mudslides are going to be a major issue as well. Upwards of 30 inches of rain is going to be possible. Hurricane warnings in effect for the entire island there. Eastern Cuba, we've got some tropical storm warnings in effect for other portions of the Caribbean.
Now, as Lauren mentioned, the incredible amount of rain that's going to fall on Jamaica will cause catastrophic flooding. The National Hurricane Center's Jamie Rome emphasized that point on YouTube yesterday.
I cannot emphasize this enough. This amount of rain, so what you're looking at here over the eastern portion of Jamaica is rain potential in excess of 3 feet. Let me say that again. Potential rainfall amounts in excess of 3 feet over heavily mountainous terrain. That is almost certain to create catastrophic flooding, life-threatening flash flooding, roads impassable, communities cut off.
Wow, Lauren also compared Melissa to Hurricane Dorian. You heard her say that. The 2019 storm stalled over the Bahamas for 24 hours. Some areas got over 3 feet of rain, and look at this damage here. It had peak winds of 185 miles per hour, making it one of the most powerful ever recorded in the Atlantic. At least 74 people died, but the actual number is believed to be much higher. In Florida, thunderstorms and heavy rain not associated with Melissa fell outside of Orlando. Check this out. Drivers were forced to navigate streets filled with water as the rain came down. At least 15 to 18 inches of rain fell on Sunday. And it's been a wild weekend of weather over in the Pacific Northwest. An atmospheric river brought days of rain, deadly wind, and snow. Nearly a foot of snow fell in some of Washington's mountain passes, making the roads very slippery. Meantime, tens of thousands of homes and businesses lost power as those winds knocked down trees and power lines. One of those trees killed a man attending a Halloween event. We have two reports, starting with Tyler Cunnington, who has more on the tragedy.
The images will be burned in my brain forever. That was traumatic, to say the very least.
Images of a massive cottonwood tree toppling onto a bustling Halloween market at McKenna Park in Roy.
It doesn't seem real. Look at that.
His hot dog cart was right next to the base of the tree.
It's amazing that I'm able to stand here and talk to you today.
The accident killing a 31-year-old man from Eatonville who was there with his girlfriend. 3 were taken to the hospital, while 3 others were treated on scene, ranging from serious to minor injuries.
You know, I think digging through the wreckage afterward for people will stand as more traumatic in my brain than the event itself.
In total, 6 vendor tents were caught under the towering tree, including Savannah David's jewelry business.
If I would have waited, if I would have been 30 seconds later, I would be under the main part of the tree. It just was chaos and devastating, and a lot of people are not okay.
Conditions on the roads went from blacktop and just wet to now slick and layered with this snow that's fallen throughout the day, creating slushy conditions. We've seen cars losing their grip trying to make simple turns. It's the first real test for drivers here along the Snoqualmie Pass this season with a rather earlier snowfall. It's called the Snoqualmie Pass for a reason. White flakes coating the mountain pass a bit sooner than usual this season, wrapping up a stormy weekend in Washington.
It's real nice to see it come this time of year, earlier than other years.
It brings Seattle area residents up to the country to get their fix for snow.
We just want to come up here. We love playing in the snow and driving around and just seeing all the different weather.
A winter weather advisory through Sunday night meant as many as 10 inches piling up in the Cascades region as slush turns to ice and inches of snow with colder forecasts to come. It means that
if you have chains, bring them just in case. You never know.
Starting November 1st, drivers are mandated by law to have tire chains in their vehicle when driving through any of Washington's passes, even if they're not required that specific day on the road.
Wow, that is wild. Well, that storm comes nearly a year after a bomb cyclone ripped through western Washington. Now, our station in Seattle looked back at the progress made and the lessons learned from that devastating event. Linan Nguyen has a look at the effort to get life back to normal.
While some of the damage left behind from last year's bomb cyclone remains, you'll find most of the downed trees and debris that littered this area are now gone.
My husband's truck, a tree went right through the middle of it and it was just demolished.
Allison Riley says the repairs on her property were just finished last month.
They had to replace the whole carport, put new roof on.
More than 500,000 customers lost power during that storm.
I think the big lesson learned was we needed to fix our outage map.
PSE has since upgraded their outage map to provide more accurate information and have plans for more community resource centers for future storms. The city of Issaquah had more than 300 reports of damage, and according to data from the Small Business Administration, more than $5.3 million in disaster loans were dispersed in King County alone. City officials say they've seen more people at their community preparedness events since, and after hundreds of people visited charging stations the city set up after the bomb cyclone, they're now planning to have more centers readily available across the city for future storms.
This was a wake-up call to people that it's like, wow, I could be without power for 3-7 days, and I need to make sure that I have my household really prepared for this event.
Severe storms struck the Gulf Coast on Sunday, especially in Pensacola and the Mobile regions. Now, this is video here of a tornado that formed over in Orange Beach, Alabama. It's kind of hard to see because the rain is wrapping around it, but you can see some good views here. It actually started as a water spout. At about midnight, another tornado formed further inland, and a second may have also formed. The National Weather Service will survey any damage later today. And the National Weather Service confirms a tornado did strike Texas on Friday. It was part of a storm system that rolled through that state. It carved a 20-mile path over 23 minutes, about 35 miles north of San Antonio. Peak winds, they're estimated at 110 miles per hour. And remarkably, there are no known injuries or deaths. Coming up on the National Weather Desk, the challenging rescue after 2 hikers were struck by lightning. And the nation's stubborn drought continues to take a toll. Stay with us.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. We head through the day on Monday. We are talking partly to at times mostly cloudy skies throughout northern New England. A little more sunshine to the south. Chance for a scattered shower as well. And then for the day on Tuesday, once again, partly cloudy skies. I think there'll be a little bit more in the way of clouds in the southern part of New England on Tuesday. More sunshine up towards the north with temperatures running in the 40s and lower 50s. High temperatures for the day on Monday, topping out in the 50s for much of the Northeast.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We're going to be getting a bit of a stormier pattern as we get later into this week. So we're going to be talking about at least Monday, mostly dry. We'll see a little bit of sunshine. You can see some of the clouds and rain starting to creep in. By Tuesday, we're likely going to see showers, especially along and south of the area. So this is going to begin, again, a wet period. We're likely going to have more rain rolling in Wednesday and Thursday. So things are going to be a little busier. Temperatures in the 60s each day, though.
I'm meteorologist Vetus Readers. A look at your southeast forecast highs. We're looking at 59 degrees in Nashville for your high, as well as Raleigh. A little cooler, Atlanta, 54 degrees, 79 in Mobile, 79 Pensacola, still 80s in Tampa and West Palm. Frontal boundary moving through the southeast, going to drop some temperatures down, but ahead of it, spotty showers and thunderstorms through parts of Atlanta. We could get some gusty storms through Atlanta late day into parts of South Carolina around Columbia, up through Charlotte as well, and Raleigh. So heavy rain there, but once the front pushes through, we'll get sunshine through the weekend.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Barry Brand at KATV Channel 7 in Little Rock, Arkansas. And you're watching the National Weather Desk.
2 men are recovering after they were struck by lightning last week. It began with a morning hike up Humphreys Peak in Arizona. That's the highest point in the state, and severe weather made it tough for rescuers to get to them. Mason Carroll has more.
After getting struck by lightning and waiting for search and rescue crews, this Flagstaff man was reunited with his wife at Snowbowl. He was one of 2 men struck while hiking near Humphreys Peak. When the men were struck, one of their phones flew about 30 yards away, but thankfully they were able to call for help with the other one. The first man who made it down was mobile and was able to meet up with search and rescue on the mountain. The other man was not mobile, and search and rescue spent the afternoon and evening working to bring him down the mountain. National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Bernhardt says Humphreys Peak is not the place to hike during a storm because there are no protective trees at the top.
It's up at 12,600 feet. And the tree line is probably right at about 11,500 to 11,800. And if you're in a cover of trees, lightning usually likes to go for the highest object, not always, but usually. And when you're up on Humphreys, you are the highest object. So the lightning, unfortunately, is going to potentially aim for you.
He says when thunder roars, go indoors. And the best offense against lightning is defense, as in check the weather before you even head out the door.
Good advice. Well, the latest drought monitor shows a sizable portion of the country is dealing with some form of drought conditions. Meteorologist Ryan Munn is based in Portland, Maine, and he updates us on conditions there.
Let's get a look at how much rain we've seen since Monday. Many areas between 1 to 2 inches of rain, but there's even been some spots that saw more, like Otisfield. Here's a look at the entire month of October to date. Notice the trend here. There's been more rain in the western parts of the state with less to the east. 3.7 inches is the maximum on the map in Bethel, with less than an inch for areas like Bath and Waterville. Portland has seen around 2 inches, but to put this into perspective, by the end of the month, we should see around 3.75 inches on average, so we still have a ways to go. Speaking of Portland, the start of meteorological summer on June 1st, we have seen around 9.12 inches, which is less than half during this time frame. We should be about 18.5 inches, a little bit more than that, Now let's get a look at the drought trend of the monitor, and you can see that since August, we have seen the drought really develop across the state. By early to mid-September, we had a severe drought throughout much of our region, and as of late October, you can see the drought has gotten worse in areas since last week. The extreme drought has expanded a bit near Bangor. The severe drought now includes most of northern Maine. Unfortunately, the rain chances through Friday into the weekend and early next week are relatively low with a few showers possible. However, the potential exists for a more substantial rain later next week.
Well, it seems Alabama just can't catch a break from drought conditions. They're intensifying in some parts of the state. But is relief around the corner? Meteorologist Riley Blackwell breaks down the numbers.
So for the past several weeks, on Thursday, we have been monitoring the drought monitor, and it has shown some intensification with an extreme drought now over parts of northern Chilton County and southwestern Shelby County, with, of course, that extreme drought still hovering over several of our western counties, and this moderate stage of drought continuing to creep to the north. Another thing we've been keeping a very close eye on are the Lake Purdy water levels. So at the beginning of the year, it was just under 70% full. But then for the first several months of the year, we got a lot of rain, especially from March, April, May, and even those elevated rain chances without a tropical system extended into the summer months. But then by late summer, early fall, we really got a drop off in how much rainfall we got, and in turn, those water levels also went down. We're only about 55% full at Lake Purdy right now, which, remember, is the primary source of drinking water for the Birmingham Waterworks. But we might have some good news in the rain department. We're likely going to have several systems over the next several days that could bring anywhere from maybe 3/4 of an inch to upwards of 1.5 inches of rain once all is said and done. Not drought-busting kind of rain, but it certainly is a good start.
We got some good news now about Lake Sturgeon in the state of Tennessee. They're no longer listed as endangered. The Tennessee Aquarium celebrated by releasing nearly 500 young sturgeon into the Tennessee River. Katie Glanton was there and tells us all about the celebration.
Since 2000, the Tennessee Aquarium has come back to the Tennessee River, reintroducing Lake Sturgeon into these waters.
The sturgeon population went from 0 to we go out and we set lines to catch them, and we'll catch 100, 120.
I think this was a 13 inches one.
That's a large one.
Aquarium biologists say these gentle giants disappeared in the 70s because of water dam practices.
We have to bring them here. It's the only way for them to get here. They will migrate upstream, but they'll only go as far as the next dam.
The Tennessee Valley Authority takes part in this cause by tracking the lake sturgeon population.
So going out and catching these fish, tagging them, weighing them, measure them, try to get an idea of growth and what we call recruitment.
The TVA is also helping to boost oxygen in dam trail waters, helping the lake sturgeon reproduce.
They need clean, free-flowing water, you know, the water that's where they spawn.
The Tennessee Aquarium told me that these lake sturgeons help clean the river so that many can enjoy the Tennessee River for years to come.
So by having the lake sturgeon back in the Tennessee River, it just makes the river stronger from a biological point of view, but healthier from a human point of view.
And all this work is working. The aquarium says the status of the lake sturgeon went from endangered to threatened in Tennessee.
We have a healthy, genetically robust population, and we continue to add a few more sturgeon, waiting to see if they'll spawn.
Allergies are popping up again as the leaves change color. I know I'm dealing with it, but will they fall away along with the leaves? Meteorologist Julia Haley has more from Western North Carolina, where weed pollen is an allergy trigger right now.
The extra rain over the summer likely heightened the allergens we're experiencing this fall. This time of year also brings more colds and viral infections, making it harder to tell the difference between allergens and a sickness. As we reach cooler temperatures with higher chances for frost and freeze conditions across western North Carolina, outdoor allergens will ease. But there's a trade-off.
As temperatures go down, things stop pollinating or at least decrease their pollen production. And so that does help to
hold back some of the weed pollen. The issue, of course, is that then we retreat indoors because it's cooler outside. And there we have increased exposure to indoor allergens, including dust mites and even our own pet dander or hair.
For now, keeping your windows closed can help reduce symptoms from those outdoor fall allergies. Smallwood also adds that mold will cause irritation for some as we head into the cooler months. And as that first freeze moves in, doctors say those allergens won't disappear. They'll move from outdoors to indoors.
Time now for a short break, but first let's take to the skies over Idaho's Snake River Canyon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sarah Converse. A high-pressure system in Canada is keeping much of the Great Lakes dry, but we do have two different systems. One right now impacting near the Tennessee Valley with Lexington looking at rain at 55 degrees. But then a cold front's on the way out west that will bring rain through parts of the plains and eventually into the Midwest. So overnight tonight, we'll look at rain showers from Iowa all the way down into Wichita.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look to forecast across the region in another week. Another fall front pushing on in. We'll have 60s for highs from Amarillo to Oklahoma City to Little Rock. Mostly cloudy skies. More sunshine ahead of the front with temperatures in the 70s to 80s. And then the front will push further south into Tuesday. A few showers, Oklahoma, Arkansas, into parts of East Texas and Louisiana as that front moves to the south.
Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. High pressure will start to take control across portions of California, bring heat advisories through parts of Southern California. We're going to hold on to the chance for some snow showers and rain showers in the Pacific Northwest as well as the inland Northwest. Daytime highs in the 70s from LA to San Diego, 90s for Phoenix. We're holding on to those cooler temperatures in Jackson, Wyoming at 35 degrees with daytime highs only at 42 in Missoula.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
The sea grew angry during this Caribbean cruise. These are squalls ahead of Hurricane Melissa. We're told the vessel had to divert its path east to avoid the storm. Fall continues its lean toward winter with frosty mornings, sometimes with fog, like this scene in Bristol, or this frosty and multi-layered sunrise in western North Carolina.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
That was really pretty. Well, a type of elk once thought extinct are actually thriving. Meteorologist Dave Dirks explains.
Check out these elk near Cherokee, North Carolina. They can be seen grazing here at the southern entrance to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, viewing best during the early morning and late evening. Here's a picture of a majestic bull elk taken in Buchanan County, Virginia. According to the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources, elk were successfully reintroduced to Virginia between 2012 and 2014 and are thriving. Historically, the eastern elk were found in Virginia until the late 1800s when unsustainable hunting and habitat alteration resulted in extinction. It's nice to have the elk back and roaming our countryside.
Very beautiful creatures. Well, we'd love to share your weather content. You can find us on your favorite social media platforms. You see them listed right here. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm John Rogers. Go out there and have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.